power chords. So many people make a living off just playing power chords. You know, play rock and roll, punk, metal, so many things you can think of. Power chords are everything. You can play, just a regular chord, pump on some distortion, and they're just red hot. You all know that sound. So what we're going to do is show you these power chord shapes. Now they're all movable shapes. So with the root and the fifth, it's just your first finger on the sixth string. You can start on any fret. And then your third finger, 2 frets higher, on the fifth string. So this would be F sharp, G, G sharp, A, so on and so forth. That shape is the same for the fourth string, fifth string. These are all power chords. So you have roots on the sixth string, fifth string, and fourth string. Now when you're doing this, it's very important to pay attention to your fretboard markers. Some guitars, they start here on the first fret, but most start on the third fret, and then they're odd. So 3, 5, 7, 9, and then you have the double dots, which are 12. The double dots are the same as the open string, so it just repeats. So what I want you to do is try to memorize the roots on the sixth, fourth, and fifth strings, because these are going to be the bass notes on which you're going to make all of your power chords, and you're going to call them by their name. So on the sixth string, E, F is the first fret, G, A, B, C, D, and E. And remember, after the double dots, it just repeats. So the first dot was G, right? First dot above the double dots, G. On the fifth string, A, B is the second fret, C, D, E, F, G, and A again, double dots. On your fourth string, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and D. So, if I said, make me a G power chord with your root on the sixth string, you'd say, okay, where's the G on the sixth string? It's here. I have my shape, I have my third finger. Bam, that's a G power chord. If I said, make me a G power chord with your root on the fifth string, you'd say, okay, where's G on the fifth string? There's G on the fifth string, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 10th fret, first finger at the third finger. There's a G power chord on the fifth string. What about the fourth string? Same thing. Find G on the fourth string, add your third finger to make the shape. That is your G power chord. So I want you to really, really get comfortable with these. You can learn, a million songs just playing power chords. So what I want you to do for this lesson is I want you to play the basic transitions that we talked about in our previous lessons. Forget about whether they're major or minor, and try to find your closest moves. Say, for example, if you're doing G and C, you do a G and try to find your closest C. Now, obviously, you could slide up the same string and go to C up here to the 8th fret, but it's much closer to go to C directly over on the 5th string. So, do a little groove. And then do the same thing, the same exact transition, starting at a different root. So for example, we started with G on the 6th string. Now let's start with G on the 5th string. So that would be all the way up here. So where would our closest C be? Well, it would probably be right over on the 4th string, or you could even go backwards and go to the 6th string right here. So I want you to pick 5 of your basic transitions, and I want you to do them with power chords 2 times, starting from different places. So G and C here, G and C here. Maybe you do A and D. It'd be A and D here, right? It'd be A and D here. 5 different places. Get to know your power chords. Love them. You'll use them all the time. Power chords are just the root and the fifth. They're not major and they're not minor. You're going to move them around your neck just thinking about what are your root movements, what are your power chords. And these are the most powerful, thus the name, sounding chords that we have. You click on some distortion. And they're just red hot. Octave shapes. Octave shapes. This is the core, the bread and butter, the absolute foundation of this entire curriculum. Everything is going to be based on octave shapes. Now, guitar is not a linear instrument like a piano, where the lowest notes are on the left, the highest notes are on the right, and C is the white key to the left of every black key. Is that outside? Anyhow, let me start that again.
Hold for geese.
Hold for geese. Oh, shit. Gotta stop with the moving.
There is?
Right now. Well,
Oh.
All right.
For some reason, I really want to give it a shot. I would like him doing a lesson and just somebody being like,
I think he just did.
Dick. Dick. All right, we still going?
yeah.
Okay. Octave shapes. Oh,
they should have stop recording because
I'm watching.
5 minutes.
octave shapes. This is the backbone, the foundation, the complete core of everything our curriculum is going to be built on. You really have to say, I love octave shapes. Damn it. Ma.
Huh?
It's computer.
Apparently somebody likes something I did on Facebook.
Just keep going from there. It'll be a usable cutoff.
Yeah.
Octave shapes. Shit.
It's alright, we're almost done.
This is all right. Octave shapes. This is the core, the foundation of our entire curriculum. Guitar is not a linear instrument like piano, where your low notes to the left, your high notes to the right, C is the white key next to every two black keys. It's not like that. While we have all the same notes, we have naturally occurring shapes on our neck, which allow us to dissect the fretboard and break it down into 5 pieces. So everything from the easiest chord you're going to learn to the most complex acid jazz fusion scale is going to exist in 5 places. There's only 5 of them. That's it. And they all start with your octave shapes. Where are your octaves? So I really want you to get into this and harness it, and I really embrace these octave shapes.
Cool. Music theory 102, playing in key.
You ever heard someone say, I'm playing the key of C? What the fuck are they talking about?
We got it.
She's, no. She did. Did she hit it? Ah!
Wait, no, I will cut because this is going to go out.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. We good? All right, power chords. So now that we've talked about how to tune your guitar, your finger exercises, we've introduced you to chords, your basic strumming and transitions of how to play them, and we've talked about intervals. Now we're time to talk about power chords. All right, welcome to lesson 6 on power chords. So we just finished our last lesson on music theory where we talked about intervals. So power chords, they're not major, they're not minor, They're just the root and the fifth. And sure you've heard about power chords. So many players make their living just playing power chords. They're not major, they're not minor, it's just the root and a fifth. Now if you remember the root, it's just the name of the chords. If we're playing a G chord, our root's G. If we're playing a D chord, it's D. So if your root is G, your fifth is going to be D. If your root is C, your fifth is going to be G. I provided shapes for the sixth string, the fifth string, and the fourth string. These are all movable shapes. It's just like I just showed you. You're going to use your first finger and your third finger. So for G, it's the third fret of the sixth string. Put our first finger down, and then our third finger. That's a G power chord. Now, it's important that we learn, especially with power chords, all the chords we're going to learn, these are all movable shapes, but with power chords in particular, you really need to know the names of the roots on your sixth, fifth, and fourth string, because that's how you're going to navigate the neck. So it's important to take note of your fretboard markers. They should be in front and on the side of the guitar where you can see them. Some start at the first fret, mine starts at the third. So let's talk about the notes on each string that I want you to memorize. On the sixth string, obviously E's open, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E is the double dots. Double dots is same as the open string. And it's also important to note that the fretboard markers above the double dots indicate the same note as below. So my first dot, third fret, sixth string, G. First dot above the double dots, G. Same for every string. So for A string, fifth string, A, B, second fret, C, D, E, F, G, and A. For the fourth string, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and D. So again, really take stock of where your notes are on your fretboard. So, for example, just know that my first dot, that's G, C, and F. You know, my second dot, that's A, D, G. Really get a good feel for that, because when you go through songs and we're going to do our progressions, you want to make those mental connections and remember that stuff. So, what I want you to do for this lesson is to play 5 basic transitions with power chords. Forget about them being major or minor. So, for example, play C and G. So, pick any rhythm you want. There's your C, and go to G. Pick A and D, right? Now, it's important to use your closest moves. So, if I'm starting on G and I want to go to C, I could move this same shape, stay on the same string, go all the way up to the 8th fret, and go to C. While that's fine, and lots of players do that, it's important to know where your closest moves are. So if you're here on this G, your closest C is actually right next to it on the 5th string. Now what I want you to do, so you have 5 transitions, but I want you to start them each in 2 places. So if you're doing G and C, you're G and C here, but I want you to start a G, say here. That'll be the 10th fret of the 5th string. So now where will your closest C be? Well, it could be right here on the 4th string, or over here on the 6th string. So 5 times. So what I want you to do is try 5 different transitions. And don't worry about them being major or minor. And then click on some distortion. And these things just sound red hot. And just mess around with it, you know. Power chords. It is a little different. Get the click. You tell me when.
Do you want me to stop and start audio?
You want me to play while I do it? Like kind of just with the guitar sounds. You're just getting the picture, right? taking it off too.
Cool. And then let's do it again. I'll go a little wider. Do you want people to know this is a Marshall head?
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. It's all going to be in the shot.
Cool.
Sick.
All right. Yeah, the over the shoulder thing is more about like.
We're going to do that more when we're doing scales.
Yeah, because that's some new.
Yeah, like we're actually skipping the scale stuff this time because I have to figure something out. Yeah, but that's going to be like where you're zoomed up here, over the shoulder, and here because I'm going to be detailing and that kind of stuff. But none of that's going to be tonight, though.
Okay. Because it's easy to set up if you do want to do it.
Well, the next one, octave shapes, if we're going to do twice, you might want to do some over the shoulder stuff.
Okay.
But
Get some close up of the.
yeah. You want to?
Yeah.